If you want some great content marketing ideas to facilitate your content creation, I've got 3 such tips right here just for you. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals get clients and scale their businesses online. And a large part of what we do is create content. It's the very thing I love to do, probably more than anything. And ironically, our business Healthpreneur has, for the past 6 years, largely been built on paid traffic. I'd say 90% statistically of our clients come from our Facebook ads. So where does content tie into that? Well, my previous company, which I sold, which was in the health and fitness space, was largely built on content marketing. Our YouTube channel got to more than about 300,000 subscribers. Our blog was 1.4 million visitors per month, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm speaking from experience here, but from both sides of the spectrum of having been heavily involved in content marketing and then completely doing none of it and only paid traffic, and then adding more content marketing into the mix. So I want to give you some context here for what I'm about to share. With that said though, I built Healthpreneur from day one with the idea that I can move out of most of the stuff so that I could do more of this, creating content, but not for today, for 5-10 years down the road. Because the reality of content, and this is one thing you have to understand, is if you are playing the free organic content game, just set your timer for 5 years down the road. Unless you have a big following already, unless you have a lot of social clout, unless you have a lot of traction on Google or SEO on YouTube already, your stuff is not going to get seen for the most part for the next quite some time. So if you have a system in your business that's already generating clients and revenue, and you have the space and time and freedom to start creating content for the future, it's a very smart idea, because content is the name of the game, okay? Because if you think about this, most people don't trust anyone online. Most people are scammers online, apparently. And it takes a tremendous amount of touch points for someone to know, like, and trust you. The more content of yours they consume, the more they will know, like, and trust you, and the more they will buy from you. So I want to share the 3 things that I do to create content really, more or less effortlessly, okay? So number 1 is, in our business, we have principles for our various departments. We have principles for content creation, principles for marketing, principles for email marketing. And when it comes to content marketing, principle number 1 is everything waterfalls from a video. So what that means for us is this video right here is going to be leveraged and repurposed and chopped around somehow in other formats for other platforms and other uses. But for me, I don't enjoy writing. So what I love doing is speaking. And so for us, and maybe this is the same for you, is that it's a lot easier to create a video and then rip an audio. So this very video will be turned into our podcast on the Healthpreneur Show, but it's only the audio. So nothing changes. It's like this video, we take the audio, it becomes our podcast. No extra work on my part. That audio or this video then can be repurposed as a blog post. We can take snippets of this, turn them into vertical videos for IG stories or TikTok. We've got people on our team that take some of the content, turn it into more like bite-sized captions for social. And then our copywriter can use these videos to create awesome emails to send out to our email list, and even create Facebook ads from the very nature of these videos. All I did was got clarity on the topic and shot the video. That's it. 10 to 20 minutes of my time. My videos go on a little bit because I just enjoy talking, I guess, but I really feel like legitimately enjoy doing this. But it's done and I'm out of the picture. So I think the easiest way to create content is to start with video, because it's very tough to go the other way around. And I'll show you an option of what I do there as well. But it's tough to go from writing to then audio to then video. It's like you have to do the work 3 times. Video, you do it once. So that's the first idea to get things just from a strategic perspective flowing. Second, if you work with clients, the easiest thing to do is create content piggybacking on conversations with your clients. So I host a call with my clients several times a week, and many times I get off the call with them. So I have, 15 to 25 clients on those group calls, and it's just like a Q&A session, right? So I'm giving them, perspective and wisdom. They're asking questions, I'm giving them answers, and then I'm just jotting down some notes. I'm like, oh, cool, this thing's come up, and this is the first one, or this I've seen a couple times. And right away when I'm finished my client call, I'll very often jump into shooting a video that I then use on YouTube that answers a question that was posed by one of my clients, or several of them. Because my thinking is, if they ask the question, a lot of other people somewhere out there might have the same question. So it's a very easy way to create content without having to do all the research around the keywords and all that kind of stuff. Now, I just want to pause here for 2 seconds. If you are creating content with the purpose of being ranked on YouTube or Google, you have to understand keyword research. Because if you don't, you're going to create content that's going to literally be tucked away under the floorboards and no one's going to see it. So there's a difference between SEO or search content and social content. Social content is just whatever you want, interrupt the pattern, polarize, do what you got to do. It's short, it's sweet, and it's usually snippets of longer form content. But you can't post that same type of stuff on YouTube and expect it to rank, because you have to do a little bit of thinking. So I'm not going to go into a huge video here about SEO keyword research, but honestly, the more you can learn about it, the better off it's going to be. Because here's the way I do this, is I'll get off a client call as an example, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to shoot a video around this one as an example, okay? So this video came from actually not even a client call, but I'll piggyback on this. So client calls, where you're in the trenches of people, we in our emails will often ask, hey, what's the number one challenge you're currently dealing with your virtual health business? And they'll reply to the email. And so the email was something along the lines of, how do I have, or how can I create a fresh batch of content or ideas for content to get more clients? So that's where this came from. I'm like, oh, that's a great question. A lot of people have that. So then I go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I'm going to create a video around this. Now, I'm going to cross-reference that against all the keyword research that we have already done. Okay, so we've already done the research like a few times a year. We have a huge repertoire of keywords that we know make sense to create content around. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at, okay, here's the question that came in. Cool. Now I'm going to match that with the right keywords that make sense to use as the titles for this video. Because now I'm shooting a video that will more or less have a better chance of being ranked versus just some random words. So it's important to understand SEO. Whatever you can do to learn more about it, you can probably find a lot of stuff on YouTube. Definitely worth your time. So we're using input from clients. We're using input from emails coming into you, people leaving comments on your social stuff that are like not trolls, but like legitimate comments, people sending you DMs with questions. These are all like amazing sources of intel. Like it's the markets telling you like, how do I do this? What do I do about this? Use that, and then just cross-reference it with the SEO side of things if the purpose is search-based content, okay? Google, YouTube, less important if it's social-based. The other thing I want to show you here, so the third tip, the third idea really, is this, and this came to me a little while ago, because people love lists, the top 3 things, or the 4 mistakes to avoid, or the 5 things I learned about whatever. So a little while ago, I created a document that essentially what it does is, what I do is I just map out these small list posts, right? So you can see here, 3 ways to become a more persuasive copywriter, 5 ways to get out of a rut, 4 life lessons I'd share with my younger self, 5 morning habits that have changed my life, 3 ways our archaic education system has failed us and our kids, 4 mantras that can help us live a better life, 5 things to stop doing in your business if you want better results. So what I did is I created this document, and watch how powerful this is. So this document, I'm just constantly adding to as I get new ideas. And Let's say one of those like 5 things to stop doing in your business if you want better results. So what that does right away is, number one, it gives me a very quick outline for a video like this. So I promise you, you will see the video called 5 things to stop doing in your business, because I've already created the outline for it, and now I'm just going to shoot the video. So that's one thing we can do. Then our team, our copywriter, can take that video, right, and knowing the structure, has an easier time to put out really great emails or an email around that topic. That same topic can be used as a helpful content-based ad. We can take that same content and obviously chop it up, expand on it a little bit, and in terms of its wording, turn it into a carousel post that we can then post on Instagram, turn that carousel post into a PDF that can then be posted on LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Yuri, this is slightly overwhelming and I'm starting to sweat. You don't need to do all that stuff. You do not need to do all that stuff. But what I'm trying to give you here are some starters. Like, it's easy to start a fire when you have kindling wood and a lighter, right? As opposed to 2 stones that you have to like get a spark from. So what I'm trying to give you here are 3 ideas to get the kindling wood and the fire together. Number 1 is start with video because it's easier. If you don't like shooting video, pick whatever format's easiest for you. It's probably writing, okay? But video is going to allow you to create more stuff from that initial video. Work once, leverage forever. Number 2 is piggyback on direct intel from your clients or the market. Client calls, obviously you keep it anonymous, so you're not like, hey, Jane said, here's her email. Like, just keep it anonymous. Emails that come into you, DMs that come into you, etc. And third is think about, if you're obviously you're an expert, think about creating small lists posts, 3, 4, 5 things, right? So I'll give you a couple of mnemonics to play with. X number of things to stop doing, X number of, like, and again, 2 whatever outcome. 3 mistakes to avoid about, 3 lessons I wish I learned about, there's so many things that you can play with. Just come up with these lists, 3, 4, maybe 5 things, and just when you have that moment of inspiration, ride that wave. Come up with as many of those as possible. Those can become Twitter posts, they can become outlines for your videos, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So those are 3 content marketing ideas to, I think, really put some hot sauce and acceleration on your content creation. If you enjoyed this, let me know what you enjoyed or which of those 3 resonates with you most. Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this, remember to hit the subscribe button because I got hundreds of other videos to help you build a thriving online health business. Once again, thanks for your time. Yuri Elkaim, signing off.